Has someone you love been showing small but worrisome changes lately? Many believe that death in old age happens all at once. But in reality, the body often whispers warnings months, sometimes even a year before life nears its end. The challenge is, these signs are easy to overlook because they start off so mild. Only later, looking back, do families realize the signals were there from the start. But by that point, it's too late to prepare and too late to create those final lasting memories. In this video, we'll share 5 important signs that may surface as early as a year before an elderly person passes. Some may be things you've seen but dismissed as normal aging. Others may seem small but are actually signs that the body is slowly declining. Spotting these signs early means you can offer better care, make the most of your time, and above all, give your loved one a final chapter filled with dignity, warmth, and peace. Stick around until the end, because these 5 signs can guide you in preparing emotionally and practically for what's to come. When you know what to look for, you won't be taken by surprise. You'll be ready to cherish the moments that remain and bring comfort to someone who means the world to you. Now let's begin. Number 1, noticeable weight loss. One of the first and clearest signs that someone may be nearing their final year is unexplained weight loss. It might begin subtly: a belt that suddenly fits tighter, clothes that start hanging looser, or a once hearty appetite that quietly fades. Many loved ones think this is just a natural part of aging, but that's rarely the case. Unintentional weight loss usually means the body isn't processing nutrients well anymore. Muscle is breaking down. Key systems are slowing down. With age naturally causes some muscle loss, but when it happens rapidly, it often signals something more serious. The body might be having trouble absorbing nutrients or may not process protein properly anymore, which leads to muscle wasting. This loss of strength doesn't just make it harder to get around, it also raises the risk of falls, weakens the immune system, and makes the person more prone to infections. Another major factor behind weight loss in the last year of life is a reduced appetite. Many older adults simply don't feel hunger like they once did. Their sense of taste may fade, food no longer seems appealing, and they may start eating less or skipping meals altogether. But this isn't just about taste, it's a biological shift. As the body begins to wind down, it stops sending the brain the same hunger cues. The outcome is less energy, reduced strength, and a slow overall decline in health. There's also the issue of underlying illness. Weight loss often points to chronic conditions like cancer, heart failure, or kidney problems, all of which may progress silently before obvious symptoms show up. Even depression or cognitive issues can reduce appetite, starting a cycle where the body lacks enough nutrition to keep going. Families often respond by encouraging their loved one to eat more, bringing favorite dishes or adding nutritional shakes. But if the weight keeps dropping despite these efforts, it's time to realize it's not just about food, it's the body preparing for something deeper. At this point, pushing heavy meals may not help. Instead, offering soft, easy-to-digest foods and keeping them hydrated can do more to maintain comfort and quality of life. If you see noticeable weight loss in an elderly loved one, especially if they're eating less, growing weaker, or finding it harder to stay active, it's time to take it seriously. This isn't about looks or size, it's the body trying to communicate something important. Recognizing that message now can help you move forward with insight, empathy, and the ability to make the time that's left truly meaningful. Number 2, deep fatigue and weakness. One of the clearest changes in the final year of life is a level of fatigue that rest can't fix. This isn't just being a little worn out after activity, it's a deep, ongoing exhaustion that turns even small tasks into big challenges. Getting out of bed may become difficult. Walking a few steps might require a break. Simple routines like making food, getting dressed, or even talking can feel too demanding. This kind of fatigue isn't just about getting older. It's a sign that the body is shutting down slowly. As organs begin to lose function, the body conserves energy. The heart may not pump as strongly. Blood flow slows. Muscles don't receive the oxygen they need. These changes are why many older adults in their last months feel weak, off balance, and unable to keep up with activities they once enjoyed. Another major reason is a slowdown in metabolism. Normally, the body makes and uses energy to support movement and daily function. But as life winds down, that energy gets rerouted. Rather than powering action, the body shifts into a state of preservation. This leads to more sleep, longer naps, and less stamina overall. Many people in this stage sleep through much of the day and struggle to stay alert for long. Some may even seem fine one moment, then suddenly drain the next. But perhaps the hardest part of this stage is the emotional toll of fatigue. Seniors who once prided themselves on their independence may begin to feel embarrassed or upset that they can no longer do the things they once could. You might notice them pulling away from conversations, skipping social gatherings, or letting go of hobbies they once loved, not out of disinterest, but because they simply don't have the energy. This can lead to a cycle of isolation where they stop trying altogether, which often speeds up their decline. For families, it's incredibly difficult to watch a once lively loved one become tired and distant. It's tempting to think they just need motivation or a little push. But in truth, forcing them to be active won't help. What really matters is accepting their limits, allowing them the rest they need, and focusing on comfort during this time. If your loved one is experiencing constant fatigue that doesn't go away with rest, it's a sign that their body is undergoing a major change. This is the moment to lean in with kindness, to have meaningful conversations, create small moments of peace, and support them without pressure. Because at this stage, it's not about how much they do, it's about how they feel. Feeling loved, seen, and safe makes all the difference. If you're still watching and finding this helpful, please type number 2 in the comments so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider clicking that button and turning on notifications so you won't miss the next video. Your support helps us keep making content that educates and uplifts. Now let's continue. Number 3, increased cognitive confusion or withdrawal. As someone nears the end of life, one of the clearest shifts often happens in their thinking, communication, and social presence. You may start noticing that someone who was once sharp and engaged begins to forget things more frequently, struggle with conversations, or seem confused in places that were once familiar. They might repeat themselves, forget names, or lose track of time, even if they never had memory issues before. These subtle mental changes can appear months, sometimes even a full year, before the end of life. This isn't normal forgetfulness. The brain, like all organs, depends on steady blood flow and oxygen to function well. As circulation weakens and oxygen supply diminishes, cognitive ability begins to decline. Your loved one may become easily confused, have trouble making decisions, or fail to recognize people and places they've known for decades. Sometimes they may seem perfectly clear and alert one moment, only to fall into confusion the next, almost as if their awareness is fading in and out. Another common sign is emotional withdrawal. Those nearing life's end often disengage from social interaction. You might see them speaking less, participating less, or spending long stretches sitting quietly. It's not that they've stopped caring, they simply don't have the mental energy to engage. Their brain processes emotions differently now. Conversations become exhausting. Noisy environments may feel overwhelming. Slowly they retreat into themselves. You might also notice shifts in mood or behavior. Some people become irritable, anxious, or easily upset. Others may seem unusually calm, distant, or uninterested in things they once loved. This isn't just a change in personality. It's the brain responding to the body's overall decline. As mental function slows, emotions become harder to express, and reactions may seem dull or out of character. For families, this can be an especially painful phase. Watching a loved one detach from reality or drift away emotionally can feel like you're losing them before they're truly gone. But it's crucial to understand, this isn't something they can control. Rather than trying to pull them back into conversations or familiar routines, the most loving response is to meet them where they are. Speak softly, offer reassurance, and simply be present. Even if they don't always reply or seem aware, your presence still matters. They may not respond in the way you expect, but they can still feel your love. If you've noticed your loved one becoming more forgetful, more confused, or emotionally distant, don't brush it off. These can be signs that both the body and mind are preparing for their final transition. This is the time to slow down, appreciate the quiet, and make their surroundings as peaceful and comforting as possible. Because even when their words fade, love, presence, and gentle care still reach them deeply. Let's continue. Number 4, frequent infections and slow healing. As the body enters its final phase, one of the most visible changes is a weakened immune system. Someone who rarely got sick in the past may now seem to catch every cold, flu, or minor infection that's going around. What used to be minor health issues now take noticeably longer to recover from. Even small wounds, like a cut, scrape, or bruise, may take weeks to heal. These aren't random setbacks, they're signs that the body can no longer protect or repair itself the way it used to. One major concern during this time is recurring infections, things like pneumonia, urinary tract infections, UTIs, skin issues, or oral infections become far more common. Families often think of these as isolated illnesses, but when they start happening again and again, or linger longer than they should, it's usually a sign that the body is losing its strength to fight back. Even medications that once worked well, like antibiotics, may seem less effective. The person might require stronger drugs and longer recovery times, periods, or even multiple rounds of antibiotics just to treat what once would have been a minor issue. This happens because as circulation slows and organ systems weaken, the body no longer responds to treatment the way it once did. Another important but often overlooked sign is chronic wounds. If you notice that small cuts, bruises, or skin sores aren't healing properly, or keep opening up again, it could be a sign of poor circulation. When blood flow is reduced, oxygen and nutrients don't reach the skin efficiently, making recovery extremely slow. For those who are less mobile, pressure sores become a major concern. Left untreated, they can turn into serious infections. What makes this even more difficult is that infections in the final stage of life often don't show up in the usual ways. Instead of a high fever, your loved one might just seem unusually tired, more confused than normal, or uninterested in eating. In fact, for many seniors, a sudden drop in alertness is often the first and only sign that something is wrong. That's why learning to spot these subtle shifts early can lead to better comfort and care in their final months. Watching a loved one go through repeated infections is deeply painful. It's natural to want to keep fighting, to try another hospital visit, another course of medication. But eventually, the goal often moves from curing to comforting. Keeping them hydrated, gently cleaning their skin, and creating a calm, stress-free environment often does more for their quality of life than another round of harsh treatment. If you're still with us and finding these insights helpful, please type number 4 in the comments to let me know you're here. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our future videos. Your support helps us continue bringing you important and compassionate information. Now let's move on. Haven't subscribed yet? Now's a good time. Tap the subscribe button and turn on the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Your support allows us to keep creating helpful, compassionate content that informs and inspires. Now let's continue. Number 5. Major changes in breathing or circulation. One of the clearest signs that the body is entering its final stage is a noticeable shift in how your loved one breathes and how blood circulates. You might begin to see that their breathing becomes slower or shallower than before. There could be unexpected pauses between breaths or an irregular pattern, breathing that speeds up, then suddenly slows down. Some people develop what's known as Cheyne-Stokes respiration, where the breathing alternates between deep, rapid breaths and long, quiet pauses. These changes may start off barely noticeable, but gradually become more consistent and more pronounced as time goes on. Another sign to watch for is weakened circulation. You might find that their hands, feet, ears, or nose begin to feel cold, even if the room is warm. The skin may look pale, bluish, or mottled, especially on the fingers and toes. This happens because the body, in its final stage, redirects blood flow to the most essential organs, reducing circulation to the extremities. It's a clear sign that the heart is no longer pumping with its former strength. Many also experience increasing shortness of breath. Even small movements like sitting up, speaking, or changing positions can leave them winded. You may notice them breathing through their mouth more often, or stopping mid-sentence to catch their breath. If walking a few steps was once easy, but now seems exhausting, this may be due to reduced lung function. In some cases, fluid builds up in the lungs, making breathing harder.
This can cause a lingering cough, rattling breaths, or even a feeling of tightness in
the chest. Many might assume this is just congestion from a cold, but for elderly individuals nearing the end of life, it's often a sign that the lungs are weakening. This can make lying flat uncomfortable, and they may prefer to sleep propped up on pillows or in a recliner to make breathing easier. For families witnessing these changes, it's easy to feel scared. You might want to help perhaps by encouraging deeper breaths or worry that something urgent is happening. But in many cases, this is simply the body's natural way of slowing down. While there may not be a quick fix to reverse these changes, there are things you can do to help ease their discomfort. Keeping the room cool, using a humidifier, or offering small sips of water can provide some relief. In some situations, medications or oxygen therapy may help, but the focus often shifts toward comfort rather than trying to fix the issue. If you notice changes in their breathing, cold hands or feet, or a bluish tint to the skin, it's time to pay attention. These are often signs that the body is conserving energy and that circulation is slowing down. This is the moment to be present, offer gentle reassurance, and create a peaceful environment where they feel safe and comfortable. In these final months or weeks, the most meaningful thing you can provide is not necessarily medical intervention, but comfort, dignity, and the knowledge that they are not alone. Final thoughts, as we wrap up this video, take a moment to reflect on what we've covered: significant weight loss, extreme fatigue, cognitive decline, frequent infections, and major changes in breathing and circulation. These 5 signs are common in the year leading up to an elderly person's passing. They might not all happen at once, and they may not always be immediately obvious. But once you begin to notice them, it's a sign that the body is preparing for its final transition. For many families, accepting these changes can be incredibly difficult. It's natural to want to fight against them, to encourage a loved one to eat more, move more, or push through exhaustion. But sometimes the most loving thing we can do is listen to what their body is telling us. Instead of focusing on reversing what's inevitable, we can focus on making their remaining time as peaceful, comfortable, and meaningful as possible. Understanding these signs isn't about fearing death, it's about preparing for it. When you recognize these changes early, you can provide better care, make thoughtful decisions ahead of time, and ensure that your loved one's final months are filled with love, dignity, and warmth. This is a time to cherish every moment, to share stories, and to remind them that they are deeply valued and never alone. If you're noticing these signs in someone close to you, take a moment to breathe and remember that you're not alone in this journey. Many families have walked this path before, and while it's never easy, knowing what to expect can give you the strength, patience, and peace you need. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to apply it in your own life. Your thoughts matter to us, so please don't hesitate to share. Reading your comments motivates us and encourages us to keep creating meaningful content. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others. Your support helps us continue bringing valuable content to inform and inspire. Thanks again for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.